America's Future, and today we have on Julie Threet. I had her on the Freedom First West Texas podcast, but I started my own, and so now I am doing a follow up with her, and so we are going to just hear about her update, some updates on what she's been doing, and I'm going to let her, tell her story again. How she got into the fight, trying to get the COVID vaccine out of California mainly, but we'll see. We'll hear what she has to say. So go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. As again, I appreciated your first interview, and I'm out here in California, in Northern California, Butte County, a little town called Chico. And yeah, I am definitely sitting here fighting, the public health establishment from my county to the state and obviously to the federal level. So I was injured by the COVID-19 vaccine in 2021. I was a healthcare worker. So I worked at the local hospital here, Enloe Medical Center, for the past 5 or 6 years before COVID. And I was a patient ambassador, and I was on the board of directors. So when COVID hit, we were like all in, like, yes, we need to do whatever we need to do to get back to business, to get back to normal, to save grandma, everything that we were told. And so when the COVID-19 vaccines came out, Enloe partnered with the Butte County Public Health Department to administer the shots. So literally, we set up a whole huge mass vaccination process at the fairgrounds, mostly here in Chico, and really did what we could to, administer what was supposed to be this wonderful, vaccine that if you took it, you wouldn't get COVID and you certainly wouldn't pass it on to your family and friends. So not only did I take the shot, and I rolled up my sleeve willingly. I mean, it was mandated, but I thought that was appropriate at the time. So January 2021, I actually helped and volunteered at these mass vaccination clinics here in Butte County. Very surreal now that I look back on it. I'm a non-medical nurse helper is what they called me. So I didn't actually inject people, but I sat there and passed out the syringes to the nurses. I would support the patients when they came and sat down. I would help with their paperwork, their vaccine card. I would fill the syringes in the draw room, that kind of thing. So January through June, I did that out at the fairgrounds. Basically, we gave 200 shots an hour. So again, very surreal. But when I took the first shot of Moderna, that's what we were giving to the, again, first responders, healthcare workers, and over 75. Think back to January 2021. That's who California authorized to get these shots. First shot, not a big problem, not in the arm, like they kind of said, and I took Tylenol for a week, this, that, and the other. The second shot, it was really strange because I had no knot at all, like nothing in my arm hurt at all. It was bizarre. And immediately, almost the next day, I get brain fog. And brain fog was not something I knew anything about because it was out of body. It was like you were sitting here. It wasn't like a senior moment or like you forgot something when you went to the kitchen. It was like you're sitting here and you're going, I feel like I'm watching myself, but I'm not here. To the point where I literally went to see a neurologist because I thought there's something wrong. And so I go to the neurologist. Again, this is now March after my second shot, 2021. And he goes, well, let's go get a CT scan. Let's just make sure nothing's going on. So you get the brain scan. By the time I go back for the results, which is now March, April, May 2021, he's showing me a lesion on my brain, like showing me my scan, and there's a little arrow going, like, you don't think this is going to happen, right? You think everything's going to be fine and it's just an imagination. But he's like, wow, you have something called microangiopathy. I'm like, what is that, sir? He's like, well, your capillaries in your brain have been compromised. I go, why? He's like, we don't know. I don't know. The best we can do is monitor it, make sure you don't have a stroke, or, if you have a stroke, treat that. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a brain tumor or you get something worse like MS. And now again, Timothy, it was weird because I was like, not thinking the shot at all. Because back then, you're hearing maybe some heart attack issues or myocarditis, the blood clots, like with one of the shots, the J&J. and menstrual disruptions, right? But nothing about brain issues. So I kind of just went on my way, right? Still working at these clinics until June. So that's in June 2021. That's when these mass vaccination clinics kind of stopped. Everybody, in California was driving through their clinic or whatever, and they kind of went back to just normal public health administration. So I went back to my normal job at the hospital. The brain fog had pretty much subsided. So now it's the summer of 2021. Joe Biden's getting all crazy on us, right? And I'm a geopolitical kind of junkie. I follow Steve Bannon. So I'm like watching America from a little different lens with this Joe Biden character, where he's calling us this pandemic of the unvaccinated. That speech he gave that summer rattled my cages. I mean, I literally wrote down every word he said in a book for my grandchildren. And I said to my grandchildren, this is what happened in 2021 when our president said these words to his citizenry. It was so unbelievable. And then Afghanistan, the whole thing. Well, on Steve Bannon on the War Room, Naomi Wolf would start appearing, right? And she has this daily clout, and she starts talking about Pfizer and how Pfizer's been hiding records and how Pfizer did this, that, and the other. And so I'm now starting to put two and two together in August, September 2021. While at the same time, I've got chronic tinnitus now, ears ringing 24/7, 365. And I'm again, and now Pfizer admits, oh yeah, tinnitus is one of our, hidden side effects that they now hide. Now they claim. Now we see actually because of the court order. So that fall 2021, I start putting two and two together. It literally was Robert Malone, a Substack I read of his, where he said he was injured by Moderna, and somebody in his Substack said, "Did you check howbadismybatch.com?" And I literally, I remember this was like Christmas. I was like, what is howbadismybatch.com? Oh my God, let me go look. So now, because I've worked at these clinics, I know every one of these shots of Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, all have batch numbers. And we were very meticulous about giving those, one batch per day. It wasn't like every shot we gave to a person or a clinic was different. Everybody on, and for example, my first shot, January 25th, 2021, was Moderna 042L20A. So I knew this was kind of one of the pieces of the puzzle. Like, well, maybe my batch was tainted or something, right? So I went to howbadismybatch.com. There's this Moderna shot at the top of the list. Like, this is a bad batch. So then I'm starting to like notify or want to notify my employer going, and again, I'm not thinking anything nefarious. Okay, I'm thinking, all right, we rolled this thing out really fast. This is probably like just went through a bad manufacturing process and they need to go recall it. Certainly my hospital, which is very well regarded, award winning, is going to go notify every 12,016 people who got Moderna 042 and say, hey, something might be wrong. No, they start then again, now, like we see with a lot of people, start attacking me. Like, no, you're crazy. No, you need to be quiet. No, you need to do this. And oh, by the way, Julie, if you still want to work here, you need a booster. So January 2022, they demanded that all of their workers in my position get a booster. And I had to walk away from that, which was horrible. It was my whole entire life. I had to walk away from a brand new career because I'd just moved to Chico. And I had to walk away from family and friends, and I had to take all these daggers and arrows from everybody around me and literally have nothing to do with my life that day. So it was January 2022. And from that point on, so that's what, 3 years? I have been doing nothing but fighting for medical freedom, fighting the tyranny, fighting Newsom, fighting my local county, fighting to get, Trump into office, fighting to get change. And here we are. So.
Well, so I remember you were showing me documents last time. So remind me what those were again?
Yeah, so
Do you remember?
yeah, oh yeah, no, I probably have them somewhere in here. So again, when I sat here in January 2022 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have nothing to do today. What am I gonna do? So I start thinking, okay, who's responsible at my local level, right?
Oh
So
no.
as I'm attending all these meetings, I'm asking for questions. What's going on? What are these batch numbers? I thought, you know what? Let me do a FOIA request to get every single batch number that was actually administered by this county. They had done one, the Aaron Siri of the Informed Consent Action Network, ICANN, had sent a FOIA request to Pfizer saying, give us all your batch numbers and how many doses were administered. So I saw that letter that the lawyer did. I said, oh, genius. Let me go get it from my county. So I took his letter and I, obviously wrote it to the county in that FOIA, but I wanted Moderna, I wanted Pfizer, I wanted J&J, I wanted all the batches just in this county. And I got an Excel file, which is the documents that I showed you, that showed, okay. And so I could see on that list that my shot of Moderna, 12,016 were administered, the number one most administered shot in the county. And then I could start to track it to howbadismybatch.com, or now there's a new tool called versaware.com, and see how toxic these lots are. And again, go, okay, now, because the county at that point could go, hey, we don't know. We'd have no clue if these batches are bad. Now I'm like, well, now you do. I'm showing you. This is your list. And I could see all the, other fraud that was perpetrated, because some of this information on this report, there was a Pfizer shot listed as Moderna. She had a lot of like inventory errors, our public health director. So I'm like, can we get this woman just held to account for administrative error? I mean, really, seriously. So yeah, that's the report that I showed you. And I'm probably the only person that has it at the county level. And I just hope someday I get justice and I get to, show this report in a court of law and hold my public health director, who has since retired. We have a new one now, and the medical officer, who has since gone on, held to account. Somebody needs to be in jail.
So, I have a friend who I spoke to this morning, and we were just discussing it because I was telling him about the episode I was gonna do, and and I was like, John, it's not really even the vaccine. So it so can you explain why it's not
Such a
it's
crime.
really a vaccine?
I
Like,
tell you, it's such a crime all the way around. So, so a vaccine. So the CDC, right, had a definition of a vaccine. So think before COVID, MMR or polio, smallpox. So the definition in the CDC before COVID, actually before 2021, that summer, um, was take this product and you will not get this disease. Okay. Summer of 2021, after these shots had been out for 6 months, they changed the definition to say, well, take this product, and again, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, take this product and you will not need to be hospitalized for this disease. Okay, is it a vaccine is supposed to prevent, and our whole thing, right? Take this shot, you won't get sick, and then that way you won't transmit it to your family and friends, because you won't be sick, they won't be sick, everything. So now you're saying, oh, I could still get sick and I still could transmit it to grandma. It's a big lie. And they changed the definition kind of behind the scenes without really telling people, right? So yeah, so it's not a vaccine. And actually, when you look at this mRNA technology, it's more of a treatment. It's treating your genes. It's it's telling your genes to produce this poison spike protein that's in the virus. So again, it's a manipulation of things in your body. And so it's more of a treatment than it is a preventable traditional, you're not going to get polio kind of vaccine. And it's a bioweapon, by the
mm,
way. I'll just add that in there too. There's all sorts of, the definition, the legal definition of a bioweapon with the gene therapy, is right in the DoD's, the Department of Defense's code. So it's mass casualty.
so they always talk about the spike proteins. How do the spike proteins fit into like what I know the like how is the spike proteins playing into all that? Like because I know there's the mRNA, but where are the spike proteins? They always talk about those. Like what is that? How does
Yeah,
that
it's
play into
again, it's
everything?
it's a looking back, I feel like a stupid idiot for even thinking that this made sense. But and again, I'm not medical doctor. I'm not a medical professional, so I'll probably
Mhm.
butcher some of this. But basically, so think about the virus, right? Here's this virus, this synthetic manufactured whatever in a lab virus called COVID, where if you get sick with the virus, you've got this spike protein that's attacking your body,
Mhm.
and then you get over it hopefully, or you don't, you die, whatever, but depending on your situation. And now if you should be immune. If you get sick, like anything, like the flu, if you're sick, then you get immunity and you're done. Well, this technology, this mRNA technology, is a messaging mRNA in your body to make the spike protein, with the thought being, well, if you make a little bit of it before you ever get sick, your body's going to develop an immune response to it from the beginning. So when a real virus comes along and attacks you, the spike protein, your body's natural immune system will fight back. The T cells will fight back and wipe it out of your body, and you'll never get extra sick like if you just gotten the virus. Well, basically what's happened is, and some people are worse than others. Your body's turned into now a little spike protein factory, because this messenger RNA, mRNA, is in your body constantly telling it to manufacture this spike protein in your cells. And some people, well, I'll just use myself too. I've had both retinas detached now. I've had 5 emergency eye surgeries. I now have a heart condition. So it's just constantly a battle if you've gotten this vaccine, because not only is this, you're manufacturing a synthetic biological weird thing called COVID, but you've got these lipid nanoparticles that are deadly, that were used to secure. If they didn't have the lipid nanoparticles which kept the spike protein, like or the instructions stable, they wouldn't even have a vaccine. And those things, the lipid nanoparticles are like your adjuvants that are in the vial. Those things are causing problems, and some people are allergic to it. And it's just, the whole thing is just, injecting this stuff into your body is just not a good idea. And it's tough to get it out.
Well, and you've seen, I mean, I've seen videos of them like pulling out this like goo stuff. It's like that's the
Okay,
lipid
yeah, the fibrous
nanoparticles, right?
clots.
Coming apart, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, what
Uh
the hell are those, right? These fibrous clots. So calamari, right? They look rubbery, and they're not blood clots. Like if you get a blood clot, if you see a blood clot, like in any, go online and trigger blood clot or look it up. It's like a red, um, it's like gelatinous, right? It looks like it's,
mhm.
and you can take, like, there's medication to break up blood clots. I mean, people have blood clots. This is not that. These are clogging. So they're clotting in your body, these white things, and they're calling them now proteins, amyloids, and people are getting amyloidosis. And so those things are jamming people's carotid artery and stopping. So they could be, okay, one day, and this is my mom's scenario, who died after 4 shots. I think those clots jammed her, because she was perfectly fine. Like, nothing wrong with her. She's on vacation, wakes up at 6 a.m., and by 8 a.m., she's dead. Her heart has stopped. So there's a lot of, and the embalmers are finding these, the Richard Hirschmans,
Mhm.
Dr. Ryan Cole, they're all talking about it now. And I literally went to my local funeral home, and I went in there with the whole thing of, I need to plan my funeral. Okay, which I do. I did. I want my kid. I'm alone. I'm a widow. So I wanted to get all my instructions ready. And so as I'm sitting there talking to them, I go, by the way, as you're doing your embalming, are you seeing seeing anything weird coming out? And the one guy admitted, yes, we are. I go, well, how come you're not saying anything? How come you're not telling people and checking their vaccine status? Because it's kind of important. Because for me, I sure would like to get some kind of a test, an ultrasound, something. Do I have this potentially crawling in my veins that's going to, stop my heart tomorrow or right now on this call? It'd be nice. So this is another reason why you fight and ask questions of your local public health department.
Yeah, and I remember seeing videos of Bill Gates talking about these lipid nanoparticles, and he's like, these lipid nanoparticles, like, if we experiment with them enough and all this stuff, like, dude, that is so bad.
He's
So
wicked. I
bad.
tell you, that's pure evil right there. Watching that man.
Yeah.
how's he allowed to just walk around this planet? And he can't go into certain countries, right, without being arrested. It's like it's terrible.
Yeah. So what have you seen with RFK Jr. being nominated and being um appointed by the Senate or approved by the Senate? How have you seen any changes or what have you seen being done by him to fix
Yeah, I
this
tell
issue?
you, it's and I'm lifelong Republican. Like I ran for supervisor here in 2024, just again to try to do anything to get into a position to help stop this in my county. Um, and but unfortunately we have so many rhinos, right, and establishment GOP members, especially in my county, who support the hospital and are all in with public health, and I'm like, so you're not going to support me in my run as a conservative? So I started looking and watching RFK Jr., right, in his race in California. What are you doing? Like, what are you about? Who are you? Right. Then I started reading his book, right, The Real Anthony Fauci. This guy, RFK Jr., knows this. Fauci's been doing a bunch of horrible things with public health for 20 years. So start watching and listening. So yeah, so when he got confirmed, oh, I was thrilled, because I'm like, if there's anybody that's going to fight the government, fight, big pharma, it's going to be him. He's got a track record. He's got children's health defense that he started. So and he's vaccinated himself. His whole voice problem that he's
I
got.
didn't know that that's what that's from,
Yep.
but I yeah, I've noticed obviously
And it's
that's
hard to
from.
listen to him, right? But and so there was one interview. He's like, he took the flu shot, and then within whatever number of days he's got this voice box. And there's other people in that I found that have the same issue. But anyway, so he's kind of in the same boat that I was. I went from being completely pro-vaccine, like I vaccinate my kids, my dogs, me, myself, everything, to I won't take one darn shot ever again, and my dogs will not take one shot ever again. I will jump in front of a bus before my grandkids take a shot if I can help it. So because now I know, and I've researched it all the way back to the Rockefellers. So it's like, so he's in the same kind of boat, but he's walking into the swamp. So I want him to work faster. I think he's got more authority to do things. Like, he should have been able to stop these shots the day one in office. But okay, there's a plan. I got to trust the plan, kind of thing. So yesterday, we got notice the FDA director, Peter Marks, was forced to resign by RFK Jr. RFK Jr. went to Peter Marks, who was the head of the FDA for the past, I don't know, however many millions of years, who architected Operation Warp Speed. So Dr. Peter Marks was an architect of Operation Warp Speed. He was a Star Trek fan. He named it. So he was head of FDA. So he's approving the baby shots and all this stuff. And he's mocking anybody that's vaccinated that goes into Washington, D.C. He's a horrible human being. So RFK Jr. yesterday forced him to resign. I wish he would have fired him. I think it's a crime. He gets his pension, whatever, but he's gone. Thank you very much, RFK. That's a big win. He also announced yesterday, RFK Jr. announced he's going to have a sub-agency to support the vaccine injured. So just focus on those that are injured by vaccines of any kind, right? Because now I've met people I met a man in Tuolumne County last week when I was there. 21-year-old son lost his ability to speak at 2 years old. So almost 20 years ago, this man took his son at 2 years old to get his childhood vaccines, and the next day stopped talking and does not talk to this day as nonverbal. I mean, can you imagine? Right? It's like, so there's a lot of people that have been fighting this battle for a long time, and I'm just new to it now. But yeah, so I think he's there. I think he's doing his job, and he's dealing with, it's a big swamp. I mean, big pharma is deep, and they're advertising on TV still. That's something that I think RFK Jr. has said he's going to stop. So better him. I don't think there's anybody else that could do it. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
didn't Pfizer say, didn't I hear, isn't it correct that I heard Pfizer say that, you know, the cancer rate has increased and they're going to create a vaccine to help fight cancer.
I mean, seriously, it is like, it's almost comical again. So I don't know if it was Pfizer, definitely Moderna, and there's a whole bunch of them now that want to make
Albert
mRNA.
Bourla or
Oh,
Albert no uh Albert Bourla is Pfizer, right?
Albert Bourla is Pfizer. Yeah, he was the one that Trump introduced in the when he was doing the Black History Month, and everybody booed him because I think Trump on
Mm,
purpose said, look at Albert Bourla's here, and everybody went boo. He's a veterinarian. He's not American. He's a non-American. He lives in, I think, Greece. But yeah, now everybody always, oh yeah, we have turbo cancer. So now everybody wants to get into the whole business of mRNA vaccines to stop cancer. Larry Ellison of Oracle, he's getting into this business now too. And here in Chico, we're building a brand new cancer center. I don't know if you know Aaron Rodgers from football player. So
oh
Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers, he was born and raised in Chico, went to Butte Community College. So he just donated like $5 million to have this brand new big cancer center built, like right by my house. I'm like, Aaron, why do we have so much cancer now in Chico? Literally, Butte County is number 2 in the state with cancer rates. And now it's not all vaccine. We're talking agriculture spraying. I mean, we have almonds, rice is our biggest industry. They're spraying that all the time, right? Chemicals and with the
hmm,
glyphosate and all these fires that we've had, right? The campfire, all that retardant, that red stuff that comes out of a plane, like you've seen over planes, that's rust. It's falling on the grate, it stops the fire, but it goes into the water and it causes cancer. Okay, so now we have a cancer center and we've got a huge cancer problem in Butte County. And now, yeah, really, there's going to be a vaccine to stop cancer. How is that even possible? I mean, that's just a joke. So yeah,
yeah,
it's a moneymaker.
um, yeah, yeah. Well, I know I had more questions. I didn't write them down,
Well,
but
I know one of the things you wanted to talk about is what are you doing now, and why are you wearing the Stop the
oh
Shots?
yeah,
So,
oh yeah,
so again, I'm trying to figure out who poisoned me, right? When you get poisoned and you get okay, I was bamboozled, but basically, I want to go find these people here in my county. So January 2022, I start going to every single Butte County Public Health Board of Supervisor. We call our Board of Supervisor because the county got the inventory of these vaccines from the state. They paid for it, they administered it, they stored it, they did everything. So they're responsible for my being poisoned. Okay. And Santa Clara County is responsible for my mom being dead. So I spent 2022, 2023 at every single meeting and getting new people elected that are GOP conservative, but they don't want to do anything. I'd met with my Sheriff Honey here in Butte County. Sheriff, you need to stop these. These are killing people. He's like, there's no law being broken. I'm like, oh. So I've been working hard at the county level this past September, but getting nowhere, right? Other than I'm waking people up. So nobody's taking these shots anymore. So that's a good thing. This past September, this man walks into this big, tall black man named Ronald F. Owens Jr. walks into Butte County Supervisor meeting, and he tells the story of how he has notified them in July as a whistleblower for the California Department of Public Health that these shots were killing people. And HH Secretary Becerra knew it. And I'm sitting there
oh
going,
yeah.
you knew that? And I'm looking at my supervisors going, this man here told you, and I've been telling you. So at that point, I said, Ron, I'm going to come with you to other counties in California because at this point he's going to every county because he's notified them in writing twice, and now he wants to get on public record, on video, so we lay the groundwork to get justice and get somebody locked up. So I said, I'm tired of Butte County. Get me the hell out of here for a while, or every Tuesday. So starting in October of 2024 through now, every Tuesday, Ron and I go to some county in California and give our public comment on record to say these shots are poison, you need to stop administering them, and you need to support the victims, basically. And now, and Stop the Shots is a community on X, Twitter X too. So, I've got like 10,000 followers now on Twitter X, and so just need to stop them. And I want people locked up, and that's so yeah, going county to
Hmm.
county. So this Tuesday, I'll be in Mariposa County, which is by Yosemite. Last Tuesday, I was in Calaveras County. I've been to 18 counties across California. I need to get to 58, so there's 40 more.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Javier Becerra is an evil man.
Ah. Yeah, he was our California, attorney general. So before he went
Dang.
to PHHS, he came to Chico in 2022 because our children weren't getting enough COVID vaccine. I'm like, this man is pure evil. Like, he needs to be held to account just as bad as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Fauci. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we'll see that in our lifetime.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me again.
You're very welcome.
And where can they find you on X?
So Twitter X, so my account is Julie the number 4 Butte Butte the number 5, which is my district. So Julie 4 Butte 5 on Twitter X, Julie 4 Butte 5 on Instagram. Um, I'm on Facebook, but who does Facebook? So I think Twitter X is a place to definitely find all my battles.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and maybe we can do another follow up down the line and see how things are going.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And good luck to you, young man. You keep going and keep doing your work and doing what you want to do and keep promoting the freedom fighters across this country. We got a lot of battles to fight, but I think we've got the right people in office. We just need some more time.
Thank you so much. Well,
You're
I
welcome.
hope you have a good rest of your day.